What if the biggest obstacle between you and financial freedom isn't your salary, but a set of invisible rules you've been following your entire life? Think about it. Two people earn the same income, they live in the same city, face the same economy, and start with similar opportunities. 10 years later, one has investments, savings, and freedom. The other is stressed, living paycheck to paycheck, wondering where all the money went. What changed? It wasn't luck, it wasn't intelligence, it was the invisible rules they chose to follow. The strange part is that nobody writes these rules down. They quietly become part of the way we think. We learn them from family, friends, advertisements, schools, and society. After repeating them for years, they stop feeling like choices and start feeling like facts. The first invisible rule is simple. Believe that earning more is the only way to become wealthier. Many people spend years chasing higher pay while ignoring the habits that decide where their money goes. A bigger income can solve some problems, but if spending always grows with income, financial stress simply grows with it. Imagine filling a bucket with water while there's a hole in the bottom. Pouring in more water helps for a moment, but unless you fix the hole, the bucket never stays full. Money works the same way. The second invisible rule is to spend first and save whatever is left. For many people, payday begins with shopping, subscriptions, entertainment, and impulse purchases. Saving becomes the last priority, and by the end of the month, there's very little remaining. People often believe wealth begins with earning more. In reality, it often begins by keeping more of what you already earn. The third invisible rule is believing comfort is always the safest choice. Comfort feels good because your brain is designed to avoid uncertainty, but almost every valuable skill starts with discomfort. Learning, investing, building a business, changing careers, or speaking in public all feel awkward at first. The people who grow aren't fearless. They simply become comfortable being uncomfortable. The fourth invisible rule is comparing yourself to everyone else. Social media makes it easy to believe everyone else is moving faster, earning more, and living a better life. But comparison steals focus from the only competition that matters, becoming slightly better than you were yesterday. Progress is usually invisible in the beginning. Just like a tree spends years growing its roots before anyone notices its height, successful people often spend a long time building skills before results appear. The fifth invisible rule is believing that knowledge alone changes your life. Reading books, watching videos, and collecting information feels productive, but information without action changes nothing. A single lesson applied consistently is worth more than 100 lessons that stay inside your notebook. Small actions repeated every day quietly become powerful results. The people who eventually build wealth don't rely on one lucky moment. They rely on hundreds of ordinary decisions that nobody notices. And that's what makes these invisible rules so dangerous. They don't ruin your future overnight. They quietly shape it one decision at a time. Every decision you make today quietly votes for the person you'll become tomorrow. Most people think life changes because of one big opportunity, but in reality, your future is built by hundreds of tiny choices that seem unimportant in the moment. The sixth invisible rule is blaming circumstances for everything. It's easy to point at the economy, your job, your family, or your past. Some obstacles are real, and they shouldn't be ignored. But the moment you believe you have no control, you also give away your power to change anything. Successful people ask a different question. Instead of saying, "Why is this happening to me?" they ask, "What can I do next?" That single question changes everything. The seventh invisible rule is chasing appearances instead of value. Many people buy expensive things to look successful before they've actually become successful. A luxury car can impress strangers for a few seconds. A valuable skill can change your life for decades. The people who build lasting wealth invest in what increases their value before they spend money on what increases their image. The eighth invisible rule is ignoring the power of small improvements. Imagine getting just 1% better every day. One extra page read, one new skill practiced, one unnecessary purchase avoided. None of these actions feels life-changing on its own, but over months and years, they create a gap that becomes impossible to ignore. The ninth invisible rule is surrounding yourself with people who discourage growth. Your environment quietly shapes your expectations. If everyone around you believes success is impossible, eventually you may start believing it too.